Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Imbulkis, and we are from Group 7, and I am as first speaker and as a moderator. So we will explain about speech act analysis of teacher talk in EFL classroom article. And then this presentation will explore the concept of a speech act theories and its significance in teaching English as a foreign language or EFL, and we will examine how speech acts influence the classroom environment and how teachers can leverage these theories to enhance students' learning. Next slide, please. So the member of this group, I am or me in Bulkis as the first speaker, and next Nurmalayanti Amr as the third speaker, Hairunisa as the second speaker. Next slide, please. So I will explain about introduction of this article. First one, according to South Murcia in 2000, she emphasized that language, particularly the types of speech acts used in the classroom, plays a crucial role in shaping students' learning. But teaching English in the Indonesian context in which the teachers are not native of English, running FL teaching and learning is troubling in terms of delivering the lesson using English and getting students to understand the instruction mentioned using the language. And according to Hadi in 2013, advocates for incorporating speech act theory into AFL classroom by equipping students with knowledge of different speech acts. Teachers can empower them to communicate effectively in intercultural settings. And according to Basra and Toyiba in 2017, conduct research to identify the most common speech act and employed by FL teachers. And their study aimed to understand the rationale behind these choices and the implications for the teaching and learning process. And speech act theory offers a valuable framework for understanding how language is used to perform action in the FL classroom. By incorporating this knowledge into their teaching practice, instructors can or teachers can create a more effective learning environment that fosters students' communication skills and competence. So in this article also discuss the parts related to speech act. Next slide, please. First one, the main material of our group is teacher talk. So in this presentation, we will explore the concept of teacher talk, a crucial aspect of language learning in the classroom. So according to Rod Ellis in 1985, he suggests that teacher talk often involves systematic simplification of the formal properties of language, and it means the teachers might adjust their speech to be more comprehensible for learners who are still developing their second language skills. And Alice, a prominent scholar in second language acquisition or SLA, emphasized the unique nature of teacher talk. He described that it's not simply the teacher's everyday language, but a tailored from specifically designed for learners. And this tailoring often involves simplifying grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation to make the target language more accessible. And then, according to the Longman Dictionary, offers a broader perspective on teacher talk. It acknowledged that teachers might use different communication styles depending on the situation. And however, it still emphasized the focus on language, instruction, and making the learning process more accessible for the students. and the similarities of both definition that teacher talk is a specific way of using language that caters to the needs of second language learners. And the differences, Alice emphasized the special nature of teacher talk and deliberate simplification import, while the Longman Dictionary focus on the variability and process-oriented nature of teacher talk. So that teacher talk plays an important role in creating a successful language learning environment. So by understanding how teachers adapt their language, learners can become more active and participant in the learning process. And then through effective teacher talk classroom and become place where second language learners feel comfortable, support, and empowered to develop their language skill. Next is pragmatic. According to Yule, emphasize that pragmatic focus on the entire meaning conveyed by the speaker, not just the literal meaning of the words themselves. And according to Ortega, he said that the scope of pragmatic to include the relationship between language and the people who use it. And according to Akinwotu, brings us full circle emphasizing the practical application of pragmatics. And we conclude that pragmatic provides powerful tool for understanding how language goes beyond its survival level by considering the context, speakers' attention, and social factors that influence communication. And we can unlock a deeper level of meaning in our interaction. So that studying pragmatics allow us to become more effective communicators and interpreters of language in all its richness and complexity. Next slide, please. Next, it's about speech act. There are figures on speech act theory. First one is Austin. He said that speech acts are more than just confined information. And according to you, emphasize your perspective that speech acts are intentional and purposeful actions. According to me, speech acts are actions that have a real world consequence. And the last one is according to Fauziati, speech act theory focus on what the speaker intends to convey rather than just the surface meaning on the word used. So example of speech act, first one is provide real life examples of different speech act like request, promise, apologize, congratulation, and so on. And discuss how the same sentence can be used to perform different speech acts depending on context and intention. So the application of speech act theory, first one is SLA or second language acquisition, or how understanding how to be perform speech acts in new language. And next one is pragmatics, and the last one is discourse analysis. So SLA, pragmatic discourse analysis, is a part of speech act. Next one, next slide, please. It's about speech act classification. First one is, according to Austin, identify different types of speech act and categorized by their allocational force. And this refers to intent action performed through the utterance, and rather than just the literal meaning of the word. And Austin's main categories of speech act, first one is predictives, or expressing an opinion or judgment. Next one is exercitives. It is exercising power or authority, and the last is expositives, conveying information or describing. And according to John Searle, uh, they are five uh, parts of speech act. Speech act. First one is assertive. Assertive is committing the speaker to the truth of a proposition. Next one is directives, trying to get the hearer to do something. Next is commissives, is committing the speaker to a future course of action. Next is expressives, is confine the speaker emotional state. And the last one is declaration, is bringing about the change in the word through the uterine itself. And the last one is according to you, uh, speech acts. There are five speech acts, and it same with the sword. So these three theories offer complementary perspective on speech acts, while there are slight variation in terminology. There is a core agreement on the concept of language use beyond just confined information. So understanding speech act is crucial or important in effective communication, as it allows us to interpret the speaker's intent and respond accordingly. So I think that's all from me. So next speaker, I will deliver to Hairun Nisa. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the chance. So now I'm going to explain about the methods of this research based on our review. Okay, about the method is, I'm so sorry, I'm speak bahasa. Penelitian ini merupakan sebuah studi yang bertujuan untuk menyelidiki tindak tutur yang dilakukan oleh seorang instruktur atau guru bahasa Inggris dalam konteks kelas bahasa Inggris. Dengan mengacu pada pendekatan yang dijelaskan oleh Ying based on referensi dari artikel tersebut pada tahun 2018, penelitian ini sesuai untuk menjawab pertanyaan bagaimana dan mengapa. Metode studi ini kualitatif yang dipilih sesuai dengan lagi-lagi referensi yang dicantumkan pada artikel tersebut. Tujuannya untuk mendapatkan pemahaman pendalaman tentang fenomena tertentu dalam research itu. Dengan demikian, studi permasalahan merupakan pendekatan yang tepat untuk mengungkapkan bagaimana tindak tutur yang dilakukan oleh instruktur atau guru dalam proses mengajar. Dalam penelitian ini melibatkan seorang instruktur bahasa Inggris atau guru bahasa Inggris yang berusia 24. This is based on the article, yang berusia 24 tahun dengan pengalaman mengajar yang luas. Dia dipilih karena memiliki skor TOEFL 557 dan telah mengajar bahasa Inggris selama sekitar 3 tahun. Kelas yang dipilih pun fokus pada universitas, yakni penulis berharap temuan yang akan mendapatkan temuan yang berbeda dari penelitian sebelumnya. Secara umum, about the data collecting, secara umum data yang dikumpulkan terdiri dari 3 jenis utama. Pertama, rekaman video proses belajar mengajar selama satu pertemuan yang berdurasi 90 menit. Kedua, wawancara singkat dengan instruktur atau guru untuk mendapatkan informasi tambahan. Dan yang ketiga, beberapa gambar yang dapat digunakan sebagai dokumen otentik dari proses pembelajaran. Overall, secara umum, proses pengumpulan data dimulai dengan observasi di ruang kelas, diikuti dengan pengambilan rekaman video selama proses pembelajaran. Kemudian instruktur atau guru bahasa Inggris tersebut diwawancarai untuk memperoleh informasi tambahan tentang tindak tutur yang menjadi fokus penelitian pada artikel ini. Setelah itu, rekaman video tersebut ditranskrip dan untuk memvisualisasikan ucapan instruktur. Penulis menggunakan kerangka kerja yaitu mengklasifikasikan jenis-jenis tindak tutur yang diucapkan yaitu uh, asertif, direktif, komisif, ekspresif, dan deklaratif. I think that's all about the methods. I bring back to moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the great explanation. Next speaker by Nurmalayanti Aman. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity that has been given to me. I will continue the material. I will explain the result of the research. Classification of the speech act used by the writers is from sure the classify speech act into 5 types. The first one is declarative, assertive, expressive, directive, and commissive. The writers found 227 speech act uttered by the teacher in the whole lesson. Assertive is one of speech act types that is used the most by the teacher during the lesson by showing 57 of told using assertive. Meanwhile, declarative type of speech act show a completely opposite result. The teacher doesn't use any declarative sentence in the classroom. Oke, selanjutnya saya akan membahas satu-satu dari 5 tipe speech act. The first one is declarative, di mana tipe deklaratif ini berada di 0%. Nah, it is found that only 4 of 5 types of speech act used by the teacher. He didn't not utter any declarative speech act in the class that changed the word of the hearer via utterance uttered by speaker from Yule 1996. It means the speech act uttered by speaker change the word or situation. The speaker needs to have a special institutional role to change the word of the hearer. The changing word of the hearer means that the situation which is changed from him, her, or them, caused by speakers is not easy to be avoided or broken or left. The second one is assertive, yaitu 57%. Assertive speech act dominate the utterance said by the teacher in the teaching process. Assertive is a type of elocutionary points that what was believed to be the case or not. Speaker accept the assertive point when they represent how things are in the world from a talk show 2019 and berikut adalah list assertive speech act yang digunakan oleh teacher yang saya sudah paparkan di PowerPoint. The first one is it is parallel. It needs to be in line. D, because there is will there. Will is always followed by verb 0. A, hang on, mean wait a minute. Next is expressive. 2%. Expressive are those kinds of speech that what the speaker feels. They express psychological state and can be statement of pleasure, pain, likes, dislike, joy, or sorrow. From Bejer 2003 state the term emotional or expressive utterance refers to any utterance in which the speaker in question is emotionally involved and in which this involvement is linguistically expressed by means of intonation or by the use of performative expression. For utterance indicate as expressive essence by signaling clues like thanking, apologize, congratulations, condolling, deploring, appreciating, and welcoming. And this is the most expressive speech art user, like thank you and I'm sorry. The utterance like thank you is always mentioned by the teacher after receiving things from the students or whenever her student try to remind her about something. And I'm sorry is utter when the teacher make mistakes, such as forgetting student names of after making jokes that she thinks might hurt her student. In the interview, uh, she admitted that her reason of doing so is basically a habit because people are supposed to say thank you when somebody give them something, say sorry if they think they may hurt somebody else feeling. The other reason is that the teacher wants to grow this basic habit in her student by being a good role model of a social human being. Therefore, the student will do the same when they interact inside or outside of the classroom. Next is directive, 40%. Among the 227 uterines, 92 or 40% of them have directive speech act word clues. From Kadir and Rilov 2011, list clues of directive speech word uterines containing the force or intention to ask, order, command, request, beg, plead, uh, pray, interact, invite, permit, advise, dare, defy, and challenge are categorized into directives. Mostly, the teacher use a directive with the intention is to ask the student about something and to command and request the student to do something. Dan berikut merupakan tabel kata-kata yang sering diucapkan oleh guru. The first one is let's discuss together. Number 121, please read start from data. 122, Miss Eka asking the student to read the question. Is there any other answer? Let's move on to error question number 151. Which one is incorrect? What should it be? Or is there any question? And the last is commissives, 1%. Um, commissive, commissive speech aids are the least mentioned by the teacher while teaching. Commissive are those kinds of speech aids the speaker used to commit themselves to some future action. They express what the speaker intends. They are promise, threat, refusal, pledges, and can be performed by the speaker alone or by the speaker as a member of group. The teacher only mentioned two utterance with commissive essence, which mean the percentage is only 1% out of 100%. And berikut merupakan kategori dari commissive speech aids, yakni today we are going to have another practice and okay guys, we are going to have a break for 15 minutes. Next is discussion. From discussion, saya bisa mendapatkan the first one is in the interview the teacher state that she didn't consciously think about the specific utterance she used to explain the material to student. Her main goal was for student to understand her explanation. The second one is during the test discussion activity, the teacher used assertive speech act the most frequently. According to short theory, assertive commit the speaker to the truth of the expressed proposition, such as making conclusion or deduction. The third is the teacher frequent use of assertive aligns with the principle of communicative language teaching or CLT, which emphasizes developing communicative competence over strict grammatical competence. The fourth is by asking students for possible answer first before providing explanation, the teacher was able to effectively deliver the material which relate to the actional competence component of communicative competence proposed by Sales Murcia. The five, the use of assertive speech act during test discussion contrasts with another study by Arani that found directed speech act were more common when teacher explained material directly to the student. And the last is thus, discussion activities are not commonly used by researchers to examine speech act usage, making the studies very unique in the context. I think that's all from me. Saya kembalikan ke moderator.
Okay, thank you, Mala, from your good explanation. So, the last slide will be explained by Hairunisa. Time is yours.
Okay. About the conclusions based on the article that we have reviewed. Okay. Jadi kesimpulan dari artikel yang kami review adalah penggunaan klasifikasi tindak tutur yang tepat saat mengajar didasarkan pada pendekatan pengajaran yaitu yang diterapkan oleh guru. Penelitian ini bertujuan untuk menyelidiki klasifikasi tindak tutur dari
Okay, from our review about this article, we can conclude that this research aims to explore the use of speech acts in teachers' conversation EFL class and the motivation behind the choice of certain speech acts and the implication that can be drawn from the results of this research. And the resulting recommendation are aimed at English teachers, especially in Indonesia settings where teaching English to non-native language students is a challenge. And it's recommended that teaching be done using English to help students understand and get used to the language. But remember that the use of a foreign language can also create communication barriers and misunderstanding. And therefore, English teachers need to consciously consider their teaching approach. So I think that's all from our presentation, and thanks for your attention, and we hope you found this exploration of speech act and teacher talk theory in EFL teaching, insightful and inspiring. So remember, language is a powerful tool, and by understanding how it works, we can empower ourselves and our students to communicate effectively and achieve their goals. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.